Everybody online, welcome. Today is one of the big days that we get to tell you what's about to happen, what the future is going to look like. We call it Vision Sunday. And we'll get to the brochure that you've got. I hope all of you have a brochure. We'll get to that in a few, not right now. So God's got this thing happening. It's one of the biggest moves of God that I have seen since we started the church in 1997. So you might want to pay attention to this one, to what's about to happen. With everything that's been going on with our culture, everything that's been happening, our thought is always, how can we reach people where they are? How can we do that? And so that's going to happen. And it is already happening, but you just didn't know about it. But I have so much stuff to tell you what God's doing. So let's do this. Before we get there, let's have a little look back, which is this year. Let's find out what happened this year, because that's important. So we know that when you look at Orchard Hill Camp, that was a big deal, by the way. Give it up for Orchard Hill Camp. Give it up. That's a big deal right there. That's one of them. I'm a camp guy. I'm a basketball guy. I'm a golf guy. I'm not such a soccer guy because I watched for an hour and something and nobody scored. So I'm out of soccer. Okay, just letting you know. I don't know how that works. Imagine paying money for that. That's amazing. 300 families, by the way. After school program that's happening, summer camp that's happening, 120. We got more to happen and more to come through that. But that's just what's happened. This is what we know now. The lives that have been touched, the families that are not even here, that we impact every day, everything that's happening. So you need to know that. Angel Tree is another thing we do. We help families, and many of you have already done this. My daughter yesterday called me. This is just like my daughter. You love when I talk about my daughter, don't you? Because she hates it. She calls me. This is no lie. This is so good. She said, Daddy, can you move $100 out of my savings? Listen to this. So I can buy Angel Tree. I went, doggone, that's spiritual. I said, I don't know. I don't even know how we did that. But you know what I did, don't you? I said, I'll help you. I gave her the $100. Isn't that sweet? I'm just so sweet. But anyway, that was what was happening. So Angel Tree took place, and this is something that, now this happened, this Greenville campus, where you are right now in Greenville, happened in January of this year. So they're not a year old yet, and it's really cool watching what God's about to do and what is happening. I got so much to say, I got to calm down. And I didn't have any chocolate yet. It's coming, though. Hey, I want y'all to see what Greenville looks like. Watch this.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my name's Reggie Smith. I'm the Marathon Greenville campus pastor here. It is so good to see you. We're so thankful that you came today. So glad that you're a part of what's happening today. Today is a brand new launch, January the 23rd, and we just want to say thank you for coming. And you know what? Today is our first service, one church, two locations. Together, we get to celebrate because God's up to something new. God's always up to something big, isn't he? Both locations, put your hands together. Let's all give God some praise because he is an amazing God. He's worthy to be praised. Let's give God praise.
He doesn't lack any energy. If you ever been around him, he'll hug you about 5 or 6 times. You just want to smack him. Greenville. It is happening. Let me tell you something about Greenville that I'm not supposed to say. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all guys this so that I can get in trouble later. But we need a new entrance in Greenville, and part of what we're going to be doing at the end of the year campaign, the REACH campaign, is we're going to try to get a new entrance in Greenville where everybody doesn't have to go around the building. But it's not just because of Sunday morning. There's something else that's going to happen. And I can't tell you right now. I'll tell you in a minute. Just hang on. You got to listen quick, though. Got to listen quick. So I guess I can go ahead and say Merry Christmas now. Is that correct? All you Thanksgiving people, I don't put a tree out. I don't like the Christmas songs for Christmas. Merry Christmas. And all right, you want to say it again? Merry Christmas. Now we have this thing called the magic of Christmas. It's happening. The magic of Christmas. I remember my daughter hearing the bells on Christmas night, hearing Santa. It was incredible. I loved it. I love when I heard Santa walk on the roof one time. And I had to get under the bed because I was scared to death. Just want to let you know. So this magic thing actually comes from Greek. So we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna do some little Hebrew stuff and then we'll do some Greek stuff. This Greek stuff is in the New Testament, which was written in Greek, and the Old Testament was Hebrew. And you need to pay attention because what happens to us is we try to translate these words and all these translations, and we miss a couple of things. So we understand that magic is Greek. Magi is where it comes from. So they had a little spirit of Christmas in their day, but it was a little bit different. And you have to think about that. This indicates something out of the ordinary. So we think magic is like something appears and disappears. If you're thinking about first century, the Christians in the first century, magi meant something out of the ordinary. It meant a little different than what we think it does. Marikai, I want you to listen to this. Say this with me. Marikai. Say it again. Marikai. That's their magic. This is their magic. This is what happened. It's the essence of themselves. So when they experienced the magic, it's when they were doing something for other people. And they would call it Marikai. So what are you doing, Marikai? So you helping somebody this? Yes, I'm doing Marikai. It's happening. And so this spirit thing was the essence of who they were. Just like we did when we everybody got together and worked in Love Week and we got to do stuff together. It's amazing how, now Marikai can be done by yourself, but when there's more than one, it really gets big. It really gets big. So when you want to say the magic of Christmas, the way they really want to say it in Greek, you say Marikai. It's the essence of yourself. Marikai cannot, think about this, it cannot be explained in a word. It represents a concept that cannot be translated in one word. Watch this. It means something done with one soul. You got that? Something done with one soul, with creativity, effort, and a lot of love. So Marikai meant they were doing something with that. I'll help you with English. You ready? It's a labor of love. That's how they looked at it. So when they were doing Marikai, it was something they were doing. It wasn't just a feeling or it was a spirit. It was something that was happening that created a feeling, that created for something that happened. Now imagine, if you will, what's going to happen here. If Marathon, and we had Marikai when we first started. We had it a long time. We did. We got sidetracked a little bit because of COVID. We were going to have our first Christmas Eve service, I think, in 3 years. I got that right? So we got a little sidetracked. So Marikai hadn't been happening a lot. Now, it happened a little bit during Love Week. So we got a part of us was being given out, and things started happening, and lives started being changed. That's Marikai. But can you only imagine what would happen if you mix Marikai with the power of God? What will happen? New things will be created. Lives will be changed. People will be moved to the cross. But it will come from you. You're the ones that have it. It's not just coming in a building that makes it work. It's that you have it. You have Marikai. When you do things for other people, when you give away yourself, it creates Marikai, and it creates a love like out of the ordinary. Remember? Out of the ordinary. So what does it look like when, and I'm going to help you with this, when Marikai meets God? It happens Jeremiah 29:11 is how it works. So I need you to pay attention because I'm going to lead the verse up and I'm going to walk through. And I've taken Hebrew and I've taken Greek, and we read this verse a little bit wrong. And so I'm going to help you because we don't have words. I don't know if you remember, Paul talked about this when he wrote about heaven in the New Testament. He says, I don't have the language for you guys. I can't tell you how wonderful heaven is because you don't have the words. And this is kind of what this verse is. This is God talking. Here's what he says. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you. This is a t-shirt, remember? And not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. So when you go to the Hebrew, let's really look at it. He says, I know you. If you ever watched a Seinfeld episode, I know some of you have done that. They did this thing that they'd be talking, the story, I went down the street, yada, 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 yada. Yada is the Hebrew word for I know. So Seinfeld actually used it, and you didn't even know. And so yada is I know, but it isn't I know you or acquaintance with you. Here's what God says, I know plans for you. He says, let me tell you this, I made you, I know you better than yourself. I know what's exactly good for you. That's how I know. So when I say I know. And it's not something casual. It's that I made you, I understand you, I know your gifts, I know your talents. Remember, Malachi, we're pulling those together. Imagine knowing that God knowing you, setting you up with your gifts, your talents, and you're willing to do this thing called Malachi. You're willing to do this thing. And then he says, I have plans. I have plans. You say, well, you're thinking, what am I going to do next year? What am I going to do next week? God's thinking, this is thoughts of you in Hebrew, thoughts of you, and new things for you that are coming into your life. It's thoughts of you and new things are coming into your life is what he did. And then he said, I have this for you, which translated in Hebrew, I have this purpose. You have been purposed to be here. You have been purposed to be here. And here's what he says, because I know you, I know your purpose. And I'm gonna work it out in your life. And so it's hard for us. Now here's the deal with Malachi, and here's the deal with this verse. It is very hard for us to actually trust God. We like to help, and we like to know where we're going. This verse basically says, I know I don't need your help. I got you. That's what this verse is saying. I don't need your help. I got you. I'm telling you, I know you. I know the plans for you. But I have purposed you. I know your purpose. I know who I made you. I know everything about you. I know what you can do. He says, I want to make sure that I prosper you and no harm comes to you. Shalom is the word. He says, I want you to have peace. Now, we think prosper means getting a lot of money. Could be. Some of you have a lot of money you need to invest in people with. This is where we are. But it isn't about just having money and being prosperous. It's about having peace in your finances. It's having peace in this world. Peace with yourself. He said, I'm going to give you peace with all those things. Not just prosper you, but I'm going to make sure no harm comes to you, and so that you can have peace in this world. He says, the last thing I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you a future and a hope. This is the craziest. Everybody, you read that, it has really no meaning when you just say future and hope until you go to Hebrew, and it says this is what it is. He says, what I'm going to do for you, he's saying this. He said, you're going to be facing the past. It's like you're rowing a boat. This is really cool. It's like you're rowing a boat. You know how you row a boat? You're rowing the boat, and you're rowing it that way, and there's your future, and the spotter is God in the boat with you. This is what this means. He said, you want to be looking back so you can know what I can do and what I've done, and I will continue to do it over there. So many of you are afraid of the future, and he's saying, row. I got your future. How do you know? Well, look what he's already done. Look where he pulled you through here. Look what happened over there. Look what happened over there. This means I'm facing the past while God is rolling me into the future. And there's a trust factor that happens with that. There's a trust factor. By facing the past, we can find our future because we can see what God can do and what he will do. So he gives you the future and he gives you the hope because he's going to take trusting God with your course. So this is that verse. This whole verse is about, I got you, I take care of you, trust me. And that's where we are. It's kind of been this way all along for Marathon. We live on faith every weekend around here. Do you know that? See, I came out of a business world. I came out of, creating things, doing things, selling things. And then I come into a church world like this. And now it's about faith. Every weekend, we're living on people's faith. Whether you give or you're not giving, that's what we live on every week. That's how it happens. So I came into this trust God, this, the Jeremiah 29:11 really came alive for me. Oh yeah, you just row and I'll show you where to go. So now we're still rowing and God's pointing the direction. You have to understand something. The Bible's a verb. It requires action. It's not something that you just read, it's something that you live. If you'll go through everything in the Bible, you'll find out that it's a verb when it comes to Christianity. It's a verb when it comes to God. God is moving things and making things happen. What we want to know is, where is he working? Where's God working? And listen, the whole church community from all over the world is trying to figure out what's happening. Because people who used to come to church are not coming to church anymore. People who used to serve are not serving anymore. It's hard to get people to do anything. We've sort of been sidelined. We're not rowing, we're just sitting in the boat. But what would happen if we started rowing again and America started happening again? Something out of the ordinary. Better than Christmas. Something out of the ordinary. Dr. Phil, y'all know him? I love Dr. Phil. He said the past is a great predictor of the future. Jeremiah 29:11. I got you. Look what I did, and you'll know where we're going. That's what he's telling us. So we have this brochure. I want you to get it out. If you don't have a brochure, I don't know why you wouldn't. Okay? I see the whole front row of kids that do not have a brochure. Can y'all read? How old are y'all? I'm just kidding. All right. You got your brochure. So let me tell you what we're going to do. This is the boldest and I would say the most faith we've had since we started Marathon. And I want to show you what we're going to do. If you're new to what's happening, you're brand new in here, this is our year-end giving campaign, which is going to be called the REACH campaign. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to raise $100,000, and you're going to do it. That's what we're going to do. So what happens with that, though? What happens? How does that work? This is the greatest thing shifting with the culture that we have done since we started the church. We have to figure out where God's working, what's going on. So God's working out there, not necessarily all in here. So what that means is we got to go out there. But we had an idea about that. We had a little idea. We had an idea. Why don't we figure out a way, this is strange for me, but okay, now we have 84 acres, we have all this land, we have buildings, we have everything. So why don't we just figure out a way to get everybody to come here, and so we can help our community and help our schools and help people. Not necessarily have to get everybody in the building on Sunday morning, but all week long, let's get with people. That would be fun. And that's what we're going to do. And you'll look at this brochure. We're going to have 3 foundations we're going to start with and make this happen. You have a chance to make it work. You have a chance to change your community. You have a chance to change your life and others with it. It's already happening, by the way. I'm watching this happen every day in camps, after school programs. I'm watching it. And we got more things that are about to happen. So as we look at the REACH campaign, the year-end campaign, you will have to be a part of it. You'll be the ones investing in this. I will invest, you will invest, and we're investing in people's lives and making a difference. That's where we are. So the schools came to us. Let me say this first, and I'll get into the other stuff. The schools came to us and said, can you help? Do y'all know there's so many people moving into Greenville in this area around Powdersville? There's not enough childcare. There's not enough daycare. There's not enough of anything. Do you realize that? As soon as we open up, it's coming. As soon as we open up for camp coming up in the summer, it will fill up. So I'm giving you a heads up. Let you know. But we decided to do something, not just with camps, we decided to do something else. We decided to do this thing called RIP. And it's basically we're going to help people pay off their medical debt. This is the biggest thing we've ever thought about doing. Now watch this. For every $100 you give, it forgives $10,000 in debt. Our goal is to raise $10,000 to pay off $1 million in debt. There are people who are so in debt medically they can't even function, and they have no money, and we're going to help them. This is what you're going to do. Everything you're giving is going to go to these things that I'm telling you about. Here's what will happen. January, you'll love this. So January, they get a red envelope. Are y'all paying attention? This is so cool. I want to be there. Somebody better take a picture. This is going to be good. So you go to this family who can't survive because of their medical debt, and you give them a red envelope. And they open the envelope up like this, and it says, paid in full. And you did that. You did that. That's what we're going to do. RIP. So they don't have to worry about what's happening in their life, so we can do something with that and take care of that. That's just one thing we're going to do, the year-end campaign reach. It's just one thing. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to actually do something to help the people that are hungry in our area. We're going to help with this. It's going to take place. You're going to do it. I'm going to do it. We're going to pack 10,000 meals in Greenville. We're going to pack 10,000 meals in Powdersville. We're going to pack 20,000 total meals. That is happening. We're going to do that, and we're going to help hunger in Greenville and Anderson County. So you're giving, what you do, what you give makes this happen. But here's the key to this. I want y'all to know this. Here's the key. You have to pack them with me. That's Marikai. You want to say it again? Marikai. That's what Marikai looks like. It's when you guys show up in Greenville and Powdersville and you actually pack meals. It's called Marikai. It's the most powerful thing. It's more powerful than the magic of Christmas. It is more powerful than anything. And the Greeks knew it. So they used it. So I want you to look see what it looks like to pack some meals and feed the hungry. Look at here.
In the United States, there's a significant hunger issue, but there's also an obesity issue. The reality is, to eat well is very expensive. So people that are food insecure are typically going to fast food restaurants and getting that high carb, high sugar type food because it's easy and it's cheap. Meals of Hope has developed 7 nutritious and tasty dry meals. We look at the sodium content, we look at the sugar content, we look at the carbs, so that the food, once they prepare it, not only tastes good, but it's actually good for them. Here's an example of our chicken-flavored vegetable and rice soup. It's made up of 21 different vitamins and minerals. Many of our meals that we produce, we add protein to. And the food banks are thrilled to receive nutritious and tasty food.
All my fault. All my fault. That was Marikai. You see what happened there? That's what's going to look like with you. I guess we're going to wear the hairnets. That's a big. I'm going to get some custom hairnets for y'all. Pull a marathon on it or something. But that's Marikai. That's what we're going to be doing, and it is going to be happening. And this is what we get to do. You get to do. Your money, your giving, your investment is what happens. This is how it works. So we're going to help with the hungry. We're going to help. We'll pay off debt. We got all kind of things we're going to do. We got something that has been working very well. Orchard Hill Camp has been working very well. It's actually a little bit of a surprise how well. Now, if you don't know, we have ropes course. We have zip lines over here. We have a little pool over here. We have a golf course coming in. I just threw that in. Just threw it in. But I'm going to give you some quotes from people that, and I know some people have told me about Orchard Hill Camp and what it's meant to their children. Here's a quote. Orchard Hill accepted my son when no one else would. Now, let me say this again. This is online. This is for Greenville. This is for everybody. It is going to fill up very quick. And I don't know when it's going to open up, but it's going to happen. Another quote. Orchard Hill makes our family better. So we have to think that this is where God is working now. This is what's happening. We're going out in the community, and the community is coming to us. Marathon is going to be a 7-day-a-week, almost a 7-day-a-week opening of this building. Do y'all understand what that means? Most churches open up on Sunday and Wednesday. We're going to be here every day of the week pretty much. It's happening. And so we're not, should I tell the other stuff? You want me to go ahead and tell it? All right, y'all told me to. Well, let me give you a couple of things real quick. 150 kids are already enrolled. I said that. I'm not sure if it really happened yet, but it's going to happen. All right? Enrolled summer camp and after school Orchard Hill Camp will launch at Greenville. Listen, Greenville launch at Greenville campus in fall of 2023. Greenville campus, look at me, okay? Listen very carefully. We're coming over there with a camp, and we need a new entrance. And if you want to know how much that is, go ask Reggie, and y'all pay for it. Sounds good. Just letting you know. That's what has to happen. Let's just do it. Not a hard thing to do. Orchard Hill Child Development is coming to this campus. All right, listen up. It's in your brochure. If you say, well, what in the world? You better hang on. I'm just telling you, you better hang on. Orchard Hill campus is coming. Orchard Hill, Child Development Center is opening of 2023 in the fall. I say maybe sooner. But I'm not supposed to say that. Because let me tell you what we need to do. Here's what's going to happen. I need some Marikai to happen here. We're going to do some stuff in the children's area. We got to get things painted, stuff done. Just like we did for Love Week, you're going to get to do that too. We got some more love happening in just a minute. The Child Development Center will be for children from 6 weeks old to preschool. Okay, provide care, connection, and education in a safe, healthy, and loving environment with chocolate for everyone. What we do, we sugar them up and send them to you. And you're like, man, they had a great time. Oh, yeah, they had a great time. We sugar them up. I love it. It's wonderful. This is what you don't know. The Community Rec Center is coming. The Community Recreation Center is coming to this campus. It is about to happen. It's going to be over in our youth area. We're going to change that out. You'll see this happening, and I'll need your help with that. I have special surprises for you today, by the way. Phase 1 of the Community Rec facility, your gift to unlock Phase 1 of the Community Recreation Center at the Powdersville campus, which will be in our youth area. This will become a meeting place for the Next Level Sports Academy, as well as a place for local community use and love. Because we got schools asking us, we don't have a place to practice this, we don't have a place for this, we don't have a place for that. And let me tell you what's here right now. There's this thing called Next Level Sports. And I want you to look over here to your right. Coach Breeze, would you stand up? Coach Breeze, Ricky, would you stand up? These are the coaches. This is what, let me tell you, real quick, I got to do this. Okay, you can sit down. That's good, man. They're in 22 high schools, 9 teams, and 3 states. What they do, they're a nonprofit organization. They work with basketball players, boys right now. I believe girls are next if you have a home. And this is going to be home, by the way. There are hundreds of families connected to this. They have to rent gyms all over the place from anywhere they can find it just to practice. That's going to end. They're going to come here. They're going to have the video rooms. Everything is going to happen here. They just signed a contract with New Balance. They're going to provide all of their stuff for them. New Balance is going to provide all their stuff. Let you know that. And they had their first NBA draft. Boom. By the way, this is basketball. NBA draft this year. So the girls' teams are going to be working on that. All that's going to be happening on this location every day. All these things are happening. This is what we're doing. This is what God is up to. You want to hear another one? You want more? We're going to start a new campus in 2024. I'm thinking about in the Bahamas somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to start a new campus. Here's what we normally do. We know that God is working in those things. We don't know where it is yet. It just happens. But you go ahead in faith, you speak these things. Remember, we're just rolling. You understand? I'm just rolling, and I know what you've done. I know all those things. We're just rolling, and God's telling us what to do and where to go. So here, let me tell you this real quick. I looked through all the Bible, I looked through the first century. I looked at the New Testament. And none of it, they never talked about golf in there. A little bit sad about that. They never said the word mulligan. Okay? They never said foot wedge. None of that. They never said a bad day on the golf course is better than a good day at work. Not in the scripture, not even read. But you know what they talked about? They talked about running. That's what they talked about. They talked about running. And what they were afraid of? Here's what they were afraid of. They were afraid that you would quit. You're afraid you would get sidelined off the road and go off the trail, and you'd be on the side, and all of a sudden you would watch. You get sidelined. Here's what the verse says. He said, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes fixed on the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Here's their fear is this, and it happens a little bit. Their fear is that some of you are going to quit. You've done it. Usually our first move with God is our best move with God, and we do the most then, and then we get tired and we just quit doing it. And so they're afraid you're going to quit. They're afraid you're going to give up. You're going to get off the trail and you're going to hang out somewhere. And you're going to watch other people do something. So we got sidelined. We need people to run. We got distracted. Those things happen. So I think it became, this is really strange, but it became more about me over the last 2 years. It really did. It really did. I like staying home on Sunday. I like not doing as much and, cutting trees and building things and making things and all that. And even me, I got a little sidelined, a little sidetracked. And he said, you got to be careful about the sidetrack. You got to be careful about the things you take on and the things you don't do and the things that weight you down. Because remember, you're here to run. You're here to change this world. You are here to invest in it and make it happen. And so I think we all got a little sidetracked. And I think it had. It happened to all of us. So what I'm saying to you with what this ambitious thing of $100,000 is what we're trying to raise. Now, we did this last year. We need, what happens if we raise 200? Would that be okay? Yeah, y'all can clap because you're going to be the ones doing it. Here's what I got up this morning. I talked to Brian. He's over there. My brother, who adores me, of course. I said, Brian, God said some things to me this morning that we're going to have to, he said, we've been telling you to give. You know how that works. You don't like that word. So here's the new word for you. Here's what God said for you to do. You need to invest in people. You should start investing. When the kids come in, camps come in, things happen in Greenville, all that, you need to start investing. And so this is what I got this morning, just let you know, got this morning. There's some of you who have too much money that you need to get rid of before the end of the year. 100%. In Greenville, somebody's hearing this. Somebody's watching online. 100%. And here's what he told me. You need to pray about what you want to do with that money. I'm asking you to invest in the camps. I'm asking you to invest in the sports. Everything that we're doing in this community in Powdersville, we're changing the world here. America is happening here. We're going where God is working right now. And some of you can invest more money than anybody in this place can invest or anywhere. So, but you too have to invest. Don't be on the side of the trail. Get back in the race with me. Get back in the run. Let's move this kingdom together. Let's move this thing and let's change this world. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a prayer for you. Now let me listen to this. You really need to pray about what you want to invest in reaching people. We're going to feed the hungry. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to build camps. We're going to build all these new things that are going to happen. And all of them are about the community and reaching our world. That's where God's working and that's where we are. So you have a chance to do this. You have to decide how that looks for you and what it's going to mean for you. So you need to pray about it. For whoever it is that has too much money, you need to pray about it. You need to invest in the kingdom. This is something that will outlast us. So I've got another about 15 years before I retire. Sounds pretty good to me. So I'd like to, by the end of the 15 years, see things moving and running like we've never seen before in our community. We're always about reaching the culture and changing where God wants us to change. And this is it. This is where we're going. And it's happening. And next level is proof. They're sitting here. So this is where we are. You need to pray. Well, let me pray for you. And then we'll see what happens. Father, we thank you again for what you're doing. We thank you for the vision of just making this thing happen. It is amazing that we get to be in this ride. Father, I just pray we keep rolling. I just pray we keep rolling and keep doing what you do. So, Father, I pray for the people who need to invest, that are listening to me right now, and invest into this community, invest in what is happening. You know who they are. So, Father, each one of us can make a difference, and you know it. So give each one of us a number in this room. What is it that we need to do to reach people? What is it that we need to do? And we love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.